What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building. What's happening?
Hey guys, it's your girl Ray P back for another one. What's going on, fellas?
What's
Man,
happening?
slow motion, man. Slow motion. Real quick before I even get into my normal spiel, Ray P, you're looking good.
Looking great.
Thank you.
Just want to let the people know you're looking good. It's reason enough. Listen, it's reason enough to where if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, Google, pause that and go to our YouTube page, and then just so you can watch, see Ray P. That's what she's looking like right now. So shout out to Ray P. As always.
A nigga been sick, so I just feel good. Feel good to look sane.
No doubt, man. But welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden podcast. We appreciate everybody out there for tuning in. Thank you for continuing to rock with us. I say it every week. We're going to continue to say it every week. Thank you. Every compliment, every review, everything matters to us, and it really means the world. It means a lot when you reach out to us. I had a moment with I reached out to Rich. We talked about Rich a few times on the podcast, man. I just reached out just on some, what's up, black man? You good? Everything cool? That's the type of community that we're building, and I really do appreciate that and love that because I know it goes both ways. So shout out to all y'all, man.
Hey guys.
Make sure you like, subscribe, share. Don't forget you got to go through the private. If you request Ray P, you got to go through the block page. So tread lightly.
Put it on the Culture Garden chat.
Yeah. You got to send something. Send a DM to the Culture Garden so we can give her a heads up that it's a listener out there that's trying to get a hold of her. Because otherwise, you might that wait list like Bane's prison.
Baby, it's
man. You hear me?
Anybody who's seen Dark Knight Rises, man, that shit like Bane's prison, man. That's hard to get out of. But now, man, in the episode description, you'll see our Linktree. So you have access to everything that we're doing, our Culture Garden podcast page, the audio page, the YouTube page. We Got Y'all, which is a television podcast. I've always described it as a television feed for the Culture Garden, but it's his own thing. We Got Y'all is its own entity. It's all under one big happy family umbrella, but it's our television podcast that we cover a lot of shows. It's the last week, this upcoming weekend of Run the World on Stars. Mm-hmm. It's been a hell of a season. Crazy. Rachel and myself have been having a blast over there talking about it. Kind of salty about the finale coming up, but we're going to be covering that. So please subscribe to listen to us over there. And before we get into this week's episode, there will be spoilers. Came out in 94, but there are events that happen that can't be a spoiler. And there will be explicit content. In other words, we cuss and shit.
Yeah.
So
facts.
You're a must for the babies out there. Today's film, if you've seen the title already, is Crooklyn. Spike Lee joint. School, this was your week to pick.
Absolutely.
What made you want to go with this one? Let me just say, I was shocked when you told me Crooklyn. Not shocked like I know you've seen it and you fuck with it, but I wasn't expecting that to be the movie.
A lot of it was nostalgic purposes. A lot of people don't know. I have an older sister, and this is one of those movies we bonded through. Like she definitely watched this movie a lot. And watching it, man, brought back a lot of memories, nostalgic memories of like me and her. But this movie, not so much. I was just like, oh wow.
Oh wow, as in, go ahead and say it.
Just because it's Spike Lee doesn't mean it's it. Like this shit's kind of whack to me. That's just my opinion. I ain't watching this shit ever again.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but okay. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm great on this.
I was sitting here watching for years. If you had asked me, I would say, I love Crooklyn. That is my movie. Yes, Queenie. I love Crooklyn. When I was sitting here trying to rewatch, I said, do I hate Crooklyn?
Yeah. This felt like a job.
I was so... I can't tell you the last time I watched it, but I was so taken aback by how much I hated this movie, by how much I was struggling to get through it. And I'm so confused because I'm like, because guys, last week I was MIA. So when I got the text for the pick, I'm like, oh hell yeah, it's Crooklyn. Nigga. I was like, turn this shit off. But I love Crooklyn. Am I a liar?
The crazy part is, I believe probably about a month or two ago, you was gonna pick this, right? Like we had this conversation.
I'm trying to tell you.
Instead of doing Mo Better Blues, it came down to Mo Better Blues and Crooklyn, and she almost picked Crooklyn and switched the last minute.
Yeah.
Yo, look at the Lord, because I don't want to say I hate this movie, but maybe I'll just say it didn't age well. It maybe a lot of my feelings of love for it, to your point, are nostalgia based.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love y'all. Like I said, I do, just because I understand. I relate to the struggle of not wanting to, quote unquote, trash something, especially from people that you admire. You know, a filmmaker you admire, actors that you admire,
absolutely,
an era and just a legacy that you admire.
Yep.
And it's difficult. I see the struggle in both of y'all. I was like, damn, I don't really want to say it, but that's what it is. It's not it's a very personal film for Spike, and that plays out. It's a it feels like a documentary, you know, and it feels like one of those Black Archives page where they just show you a random family in South Carolina and no other context behind it. There's nothing that we get out of it except for the viewpoint of this family and this coming of age story for this young girl. And I don't even know if I would consider that a coming of age. And here's what I was thinking about, y'all. We did Eve's Bayou recently. Why is that movie so much more compelling than this when they're very similar makeups?
That's a great question.
Because we actually get some, I think, with the New Orleans element, that playing its own character. I think with Samuel Jackson's character just being on trash. I think with you know, the daughter saying something. I guess there's more of a story there that we're following along, where this is, like I said, we're just the neighbor. We're the neighbors in the movie.
This movie feels like a bunch of just shit happening around you, like just super crazy events happening, but no real like plot line. And like you said, I guess the plot line is her coming of age story. But other than that, it's not like I don't leave this movie with anything besides Queenie died. About it.
Yeah, guys. I think that there is something to that. Eve's Bayou, there's a lot more depth to the story and richness of the characters. Everybody is well developed. Everybody is a well-developed character in Eve's Bayou. In Crooklyn, Troy and maybe Clinton, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Pops. The characters aren't developed well enough. All I see is just like a bunch of badass kids. And maybe if we were from New York and not the Midwest, you know, that may play a part too in why we're 30 plus years old. So we were outside kids, you know, we didn't grow up on the internet. So it's relatable of being outside doing a bunch of shit you ain't got no business doing, you know, wreaking havoc on the neighborhood.
Yes.
But something is just at 36 watching this for the umpteenth time just does not curl over. And I'm so shocked and flabbergasted by the visceral reaction I was having to a movie that I have loved my whole life.
Yeah. It's an interesting spot to be in. Excuse me. All right. Synopsis. Spike Lee's vibrant semi-autobiographical portrait of a school teacher, her stubborn jazz musician husband, and their 5 kids living in Brooklyn in 1973. As far as stats go, it was released May 13th, 1994, directed by Spike Lee, written by Joie Lee, Cinque Lee, and Spike Lee, all siblings. Shout out to Ruth E. Carter on the costumes, the legend. Academy Award winner, everything. Everything black she's a part of, man. She's incredible. It had a budget of an estimated $14 million and it made $13.6 million worldwide. So it did take a small loss. $4.2 million opening weekend. This film is currently streaming on Stars. If anybody wants to watch it after our opening, go ahead and go with it. we do have some positive things to say about Crooklyn throughout the film, but shout out to Rachel. Gonna know what I'm talking about. Shout out to K-Rob. That's all I'm gonna say, man. Shout out to K-Rob. As far as awards go, 3 nominations but no wins. The cast: Alfred Woodard as Carolyn, Delroy Lindo as Woody, Zelda Harris as Troy, which phenomenal job by Zelda Harris. This is her feature film debut. I think she was incredible. She also plays Mary and He Got Game, Jesus' little sister. So shout out to her. Carlton Williams as Clinton, Sharif Rashid as Wendell, C. Mac Washington as Joseph, Christopher Knowings as Nate. You have appearances by Isaiah Washington as Vic, Spike Lee as Snuffy. What'd you say?
My other man.
Shout out to Isaiah Washington, man. Spike Lee as Snuffy, Norman Matlock as Uncle Clem, Francis Foster as Aunt Song, Patrice Nelson as Viola, Vondi Curtis Hall as Uncle Brown, Joie Lee as Aunt Maxine, and David Patrick Kelly as Tony Eyes. Let's talk about the origin a little bit, because there's some information about how this film even came about. So it wasn't the goal, but it's unknowingly a love letter to the Lee siblings' mother. These, like I said, it's semi-autobiographical, but there's a lot of stuff that's taken from their life and their childhood. There are 5 of them. They had a jazz musician father. They had a mother who was a teacher. The mother passed away, I think, when Joy was 14. So Spike was probably about late teens, early 20s. I forget what the difference is. I think there's about a 5-year difference between them. And it was written by Joie Lee, as I said. It was her first screenplay. And her and Cinque Lee, Cinque and Spike get credit as well, but it's from Joy's perspective, which is why we talk about it from Troy's. That's why she's the main character. She's an avatar for us. And she wanted to celebrate the memories of her and her brothers as street kids growing up in Brooklyn. They originally wrote the pilot for Nickelodeon to turn it into a television show. And they tested it with urban audiences, and they said, we ain't fucking with this. They said what Rachel Cruz said, we ain't fucking with this. So then they turned it into a screenplay. So Joy sold the script to Spike. And it's very interesting because she did not disclose how much money it was sold for. I think we talked a little bit about on Mo Better Blues. There's like I don't know, like they rock with each other, but the business side seems to be some funny little stuff. And Joy talked about it was a fight to get the story by credit. So when you roll the credits, it has story by. Spike was trying to take credit for that because, hey, we wrote this together. This is our experiences. And I guess to that credit, in school, we can relate to this because our family does it. When we look at our aunts and uncles, so many different perspectives about the same story.
Oh man!
Everybody remembers that the thing happening. There's so many points of view, and everybody remembers it differently. So all of that wrapped in, and she really fought for that, but she ended up getting it, which was more important to her than the money, which makes me sound like Spike played her, pretty much. But she said, yeah, it's still business, and there was definitely some creative and financial conflict between the siblings as it went on. She did have major creative direction. When I say her, I mean Joy. As far as casting, directing, making sure she was a mentor on the cast. Malcolm X was Spike's prior film. Obviously, there's a lot of controversy, a lot of hard work, just a lot of baggage that came with making that film. And he wanted to do something a little bit lighter. So when Joy presented the script, he was like, I bet that's my next film. And at that time, he had signed a deal with Universal. It wasn't an exclusive deal, but it was one of those deals where Universal has first say if they want to buy a movie by Spike Lee. And this was the first film that they purchased under that contract. And like I said, what a way to start, just not making your money back.
Yeah.
But I think people put Spike in a box. I think they wanted him to be, she's got to have it, school days. Do the right thing type of Spike. And it's different. It's different. It's a different pace.
You could definitely tell through this film Spike doesn't know how to target the kids. So I could only imagine what it looked like for Nickelodeon.
Yeah, that was weird to me to hear that they tried to spin it. I'm sure it was a little different, but still a little weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is this the premise for Hey Arnold?
Oh, snap.
Stupid. I
You might
mean,
be on
has
something,
some
Rachel.
elements.
Come on, think about it.
You might
A
be on
bunch
something.
of
They might have read you and
badass
been like
kids outside in New York.
Yep.
playing stickball.
Yep. All that.
The
Alleged.
girls. Remember what's the old girl name? The one that she was running shit.
Helga.
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 Think about how
Zelda?
dominant the girls were in this film. Like,
Yep.
man, Rachel,
Come on.
Yep.
Come on.
you on to something.
It might be something. I don't know. But if it came out that it was, you heard it here first.
Y'all see the date? Y'all see the date, man. So, School, I gotta ask you, do you remember your first experience with the film?
No. I just know I watched it with Big Sis. That's about it.
Understood. Ray P, what about you?
Same. I have no idea. You know what? I'm lying. I think I watched this for the first time on VHS at my cool my Aunt Melody. That's the cool you can watch anything over there.
Mhm.
Everybody got one.
Because my
Everybody
little
got-
cousin who I used to babysit, they had it on VHS. So I think that was my first time watching it over there.
Okay. Then. Yeah. I know this is School's line. This is normally School's line, but I'm gonna use it this week. This is an 85-85 for me.
Okay.
I saw this on 85-85, and it's fitting because this film. One thing I will say, this film was probably huge with the generation before us. The generation that actually grew up and was outside in the 70s like that.
Yeah.
Because I think there was a sense of, we think about 1994 and those early 90s, we're still in the Clinton years, and we fresh off of Reaganomics and what the streets look like in those same communities that we see in this film. They got a lot more violent. A lot of people weren't playing as outside. We were, I think, as Midwesterners, but I think in New York, a lot of the outside playing wasn't going on. That stickball scene, that reminds me of It Takes Two.
Yes.
When they were playing stickball at the beginning of that was a thing that kids did, and I think certain areas that just kind of stopped. So this is a nostalgic piece. No matter where you grew up, it brings some type of nostalgia to you while you watch this. Makes you think of your childhood a little bit. So I really think that, I'm speaking of 85-85, there was 12 of them. You know what I mean? 12 of them. And there's so many elements that I see, like, oh, this is the stories that they always tell when we're together about them growing up in that house. It's kind of like me seeing it when I watch this film.
Yeah.
Except for there were a lot more girls than there were boys.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience with it. I think I know the answer. I thought I was gonna be a little bit more intrigued to it, but this is a top 5 Spike movie.
No.
No.
I'm not gonna hold y'all.
A month ago, I would have said yes.
A month ago, I would have said yes. I did a little fake mock ranking. It's about 8. It's about 8 for me.
About right. 8.
I'm being real, because the first 4 you gotta have Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X, Inside Man,
Mo Better Blues for me.
Mo Better Blues. Those are 4 undeniable. Like, nobody's moving them. I don't care what Spike put out next. Like, I'm sure them 4 are gonna stay locked in. And then you can go anywhere from He Got Game to 25th Hour to Clockers to School Days. She Got Have It. Like, any of those can kind of fill that 5th spot. But
if you a real one, you're gonna say Miracle at Santa Ana.
Oh,
hey, Rachel in the bag.
Yeah, as a history buff, that's my shit. So
yeah, man. You got a favorite Spike Lee movie, School?
It's probably He Got Game, for real.
I think for our era,
that's bro. You know how I feel. Like, you got me hip to that one, man.
Yeah, that was one of those first movies for me, transitioning out of the kids that were this age in this film to doing, like, I don't want to say adult shit, but that next step of shit.
Yeah.
That next step of shit. Shit I definitely wasn't supposed to be doing.
Of course.
I had enough gall in me to start doing it. A lot like Clinton. Well, we see Clinton throughout this movie, where he just got the gall to kind of talk back and say shit that you you still young enough to where it's laughable, but in your head you feel. I talk about that all the time. Like at 17, I thought I was an adult. I thought I was grown as hell, and I look at it now and I just laugh like we ain't no shit
at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I do want to say this about the film too. I do appreciate the fact that Black women are the highlight of this film, and that it's told from that perspective, and that they all do an incredible job. And I know there's only two main ones between Zelda and Alfred Woodard, but they both are incredible. And if you take them away from this movie, then the conversation really goes south. So I really personally think they were the highlights of this film, even when you have a force like Delroy Lindo, who he's a presence on screen, no matter what he's doing. And even though he was a more gentle, calm father, they held their own. Even Zelda in scenes with him held her own. So that was a great highlight just to show that, and just to show just Black girls not to have their light dimmed.
Yeah.
You know, I think they were very specific about that. Did that ever, before I guess this rewatch, Rachel, did you ever, I don't want to say was it ever inspiring, but was Ruth somebody that you ever looked at, or not Ruth, but Troy?
No, because I wasn't, even though I was even though I was outside, I wasn't a tomboy, you know. So, and yes, me and my brother used to fight to the death, but no, it just was like, oh, okay, let's some more badass kids. It wasn't anything like that I aspired to. Like, oh yeah, relatable. Even though, yes, fighting with your siblings and or cousins is extremely relatable content. But no.
I feel that. And it was nice to see. I know it was based in the 70s. In 1994, we still didn't get a lot of two-parent household. Community matters. You know, everybody around there looked out for each other for the most part.
Right.
They handle things as a community, as things on their own block. I'm sure that goes into that nostalgia piece I was talking about for that generation before us. They look at that and they see themselves like, oh, this is how times were. Now people barely even know their neighbors, or tell their neighbors, don't talk to me, man. We ain't about to do that. Yep. So it's just funny to see. It is a time capsule piece. And I'm sure, like I said, our parents, they probably love it. And they probably look at it and it takes them right back to 73 and what they were doing and the innocence that they had and everything else. For us, it's just all right. It's one of those generational pieces. You just don't. This ain't for us. And the next generation is gonna have a piece that we love, and they just gonna be like, this ain't for us.
Right. Facts.
The thing with that, though, for me, is that even though it's quote unquote based in the 70s, with it coming out in the 90s, I don't know. Like, it wasn't that different. In 94, I was 7. So what are they? Between 13 and probably 7, you know? So outside. Yeah. So that component of it was very familiar and, again, relatable. But it just, what is the point? You know, what am I supposed to get from this?
And that's the one problem I have with this film is like, I don't know what I'm supposed to get from this. Like, I didn't leave from this film with much of anything. And that's tough for Spike. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
for sure,
it's a Spike Lee joint. You feel like I'm leaving this bitch with something. Denzel voice. But nah, it didn't happen. So
very fair. Very fair. I think that's the perfect way to say it. You don't leave with anything. It's just like you dropped into this story and you watch them do their thing and then you leave. It's like, damn. Like, even after traumatic events like Carolyn passing, there's no real message behind it other than their mom died. And by all means, they have Spike. If this is personal to him, he has every right to make this film. And if it's just for him, then it's just for him. And it might just be one of those where he don't care. He just wanted to put it out because it reminded him of his family. The same way if we were in a position to do that. And I was thinking about it. If I made a story just about my family and nothing else, like, no, I'm not going down any kind of road of an individual story and telling really major details. It's going to look the same. Like, nobody really wants to see that. Shout out to Spike, man, for real. Like, I promise that. But appreciate the work and what you were doing. It just doesn't stand the test of time like that. And I think if anybody says differently, they're either older or they're lying.
Yeah. I think they're older for sure.
But don't let us bully y'all into not liking Crooklyn. If you like Crooklyn, you like Crooklyn.
Oh yeah,
I like Crooklyn. Like, it's just not something that I need to watch. I'll watch it again, school. I will watch it again. I'm not going to stop watching Crooklyn, but it's not the first 5 or 6 spikes I'm going to.
I don't know that I'll intentionally seek it out ever again, but if I see that it's on, I'm gonna stop for a little bit. I might not stay there. I might stop for a little bit, like, oh, Crooklyn.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. And I know me. I go on runs. I go on director runs, actor runs. So there's gonna be a moment where I'm just gonna say, let me just watch all the Spike's films in order, and I'm gonna come on Crooklyn and just it happens.
He gonna do his taxes. Doing something.
Let's talk about categories. Let's get into best scenes / moments. They don't have to be full scenes because, like we said, this movie is structured in such a way that nothing intense or noteworthy happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, there's stuff that happens, but it's not anything that's gonna shift the world. Shift the conversation.
This movie seemed like it was written in the form of, let's spend a month or 2 with the family. Let's spend a summer with the family. That's what it seems as though it was written that way. Like, you talk about moments, and I'll jump in. One of my favorite is the middle of the night ass whooping. Like,
yeah, I got that written down.
Yeah,
I've been there. I've been there. My mom told me, yo, make sure this kitchen clean when I bring my ass in here from this hard day of work. And I'm like, all right, I got you. Cause she working 3rd shift, and I get my ass woke up at 2:33 in the morning with a nice leather one, huh?
Relatable.
So I've been there.
Exactly. That's cool. Not to cut you off, but that reminded me of so many times. My mom, she's a retired police officer. And so at one point she was working 3rds and, expected the house to look a certain way when she came back. And my job was the dishes and they were not done. Yep. And I can't tell you how many times she woke my ass up. Not with a kiss. Not lovingly, to get up and get the fucking dishes washed.
And it's hilarious. I wrote that in my notes. What both of y'all said. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because us being adults now, we understand our parents 100%.
For sure.
Oh yes.
Like, you in there sleeping, you resting, you sleeping good. You ain't paying no bills around this motherfucker. Get your ass up and do these dishes. But as a kid, it's like, damn, like, you on some bullshit.
Yeah, it reminds me of being a teenager around, 13, 14. Mom's calling home and it's noon and I'm still in here sleep, but I gotta act like I'm up. Hello? You answer the phone, talking about, hello? Boy, is you asleep?
Yo, what is it about moms that just know you've been asleep? They know you've been asleep. It don't matter how much I try to do the me, try to get the voice up.
Yep.
What you sleep? You sound like you sleep. Yep. Shut up, Rachel.
But he right though, because you look at the caller ID, boy, you see his mom's job. Hello, boy, I know you ain't still asleep. Like, damn.
Did you take that meat out?
Did you take that meat out?
Your ass up.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna go to my next scene, so go ahead if you were gonna.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and this happens a lot in real life and this film. Just, I think Clinton said, "I'd rather have a father than a mother any day." And we see how much weight mom pulls. She does everything. The disciplinarian, the chef, the breadwinner. Like, she does everything, and dad gets to come in with sand cake and ice cream and just be the cool guy.
Yep.
And you get comments like that from your children without them knowing, like, damn, like, I'm the one that run this whole ship. So that aspect, that's just an interesting thing to look into and dive into. And it's unfortunately just happens more often than not. She was the adult in the relationship.
Yeah, it's funny how you know that they really didn't mean no disrespect. You know what I mean? Like, they They don't want her to die. They just want her to ease up. That's it.
Yeah,
Well,
but she gets all the brunt of that because he's not Woody's not there to do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Woody.
That comment and scene one reminded me of my own life because me and my mother used to butt heads, if you could imagine. And I was me and my daddy this, me and my daddy and your mama to my brother, like da 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 da. Now that's my road dog. As an adult, as a woman, that's my dog. But growing up, not at all. But it reminded me of Insecure when Keke Palmer, shout out to Keke Palmer, when Keke Palmer's character, Condola's sister, is like, you like an uncle. And that is what Pops is like. You come, you have fun. You ain't paying no bills. You ain't doing nothing. You come in here, play the piano. The kids, they enjoy you because you're not enforcing any rules. You're not making them clean up. Yeah, they can turn on the TV, even though their mama said ain't no TV through the week. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So just zero responsibility because really all he cared about is his fucking music. Like, yeah, I love my wife, I love my kids, but I really want to do this whole music thing, you know?
Yep.
And that's a great point you just made, Rachel, as far as her saying no TV and him turning around and saying, yes, you can watch some, or just going against what you're saying. Because if you're not enforcing, the least you can do is reinforce when you are here. You don't even got to be the one to tell them initially no, but I said no TV, you can just back me up. So when you gone, they really ain't going to listen to me.
Exactly.
Because they know they can just come to you. So, yeah, I feel you on that. School, you going to say something? My bad.
Nah, I was definitely just about to say the same thing because, like, you know, Clinton was at that age where he was definitely smelling himself. And
for sure.
That moment where he was for real kind of disrespectful. And but he was like, man, let him watch some TV. Like, what, nigga? Like
that nigga say, hey, we know what's crazy is I believe this nigga when he said, I don't care what you say, I'm watching this game.
I'm watching this game.
For sure.
He meant that shit. I don't care what she say, I'm watching. That's when you know you at that age, like, all right, man, you got to tone down a little bit. Pop's gotta, you know, rough you up a little bit.
I know that we are in the gentle parenting, and I think I'm against corporal punishment, but all I could think is like, oh my God, he needs to get his ass whooped. Like, you don't know, y'all going too easy. He a little disrespectful, a little throat chop.
I think that lesson. I don't know if we all can agree, but we do agree, maybe not, that Clinton's character is Spike Lee Shelton, right?
Oh, 100%. That's 100% Spike.
So with that being said, we can kind of agree also that I feel like Spike might have been on that, especially about the Knicks. Like, I don't care what she say, I'm watching this game.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's just a coming of age thing. We've all had moments where we just thought we was grown and we gonna say whatever you want back. Like we don't think that far down the line of consequences. And if you got the right one, depending on how you want to say it, they'll teach your ass real quick. Like you were a child.
For sure.
You were a child. So yeah, man. That builds character though. I'm not condoning. I'm speaking about my personal experiences. A lot of character was built from certain discipline.
Yes.
All right. I learned how to navigate life. I learned how to talk to people. I learned what to expect if I talk to people crazy. What Tax say? Watch your mouth or watch your mouth bleed.
That's a fact.
You know, I'm just saying. I don't condone no violence. Culture Garden don't condone no violence. But how you live your life is how you live your life.
Yep.
Oh, Ray P, what's your next scene? Or moment?
I just want to clarify. I firmly believe in talk shit get hit. So maybe not violence against children, but sometimes violence is a necessary evil. Okay.
Hold on. If you want a good refresher on our conversation on that, go check out our Academy Awards episode after Will Smith smack. You'll hear our full views on cause and effect.
Yep.
Period. There we go. I'll go meeting Vic, who was played by Isaiah Washington's character, just because when you're young, it's nothing like seeing that cool neighbor. Even though he was crazy as a Betsy bug thanks to the war.
Man.
But just seeing one that cool black man, all the kids love him. Like, oh yeah, hey, they listen to him, they admire him, and I just like that. Just seeing him, and I used to be in love with Isaiah Washington. Do you hear me? In love with him. Like, he a little crazy, but I love that man. That's all. For no other reason than that. It's just seeing a cool black man in a Spike Lee movie.
Yeah.
Your grin got a little wider when you started talking about him. I just want to point that out.
Let me tell you, it's nothing like a big old.
All right, Ray, hold on, man. This ain't Culture Garden After Dark. Shit.
Oh.
Hey, you hear me? About to happen next.
Say that shit when we do twa.
Oh.
Y'all niggas stupid, man. I guess it's on me, huh?
Twa.
We're gonna do the sequel too. Yeah, we're gonna do the sequel too. We're gonna do all of them. My scene, just it's not even a scene, it's just a moment. I gotta shout this out. The Black Eyed Peas scene with him not wanting to eat them Black Eyed Peas, because that's this very specific moment in my life where it wasn't Black Eyed Peas, it was regular peas. To this day, I still hate peas, but I've never liked them. And I remember one night, my mom was just talking about this story. I remember one night, man, I did not want to eat these peas, and my pops was not going. He ain't had nothing to do that night. He would have sat there all night till I ate them peas, and I kept telling him, like, I do not want these peas. He did not care. Mom saved me. Shout out to Dukes, man, because she saved me. He was not going for some reason. I was gonna eat them peas that night, and I kept trying, and I'm like, this shit is disgusting. Shout that moment out. Shout out to Pops, man.
Yep. I think we all got one of them. We all got one of them. Mine's just green beans. I don't do it.
I wasn't going and he wasn't going.
Yeah.
It's broccoli for me. I fucking hate broccoli.
See?
Damn. It's all green vegetables too.
Yep.
Crazy.
To this day. Is you still not like broccoli?
I still do not like broccoli.
Yep.
See?
No thanks.
One of them things. That's a stick away. We try to tell our parents, I do not like this. I know I don't like it. I promise I'm not just being 7.
Yeah, I think it's a smell thing for me. I hate it.
That makes sense.
I can't eat shit that stinks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, broccoli definitely stinks.
School, we on you.
My next scene is just the scene of Carolyn and Woody having a discussion about money, about him carelessly writing checks and these checks bouncing. It must be tough to be in a marriage and really not know what's going on. You already don't know what's going on at home with the kids, with, anything inside the home, because you're so busy with your work and you're not even working because you're not bringing money home. And then there's a bill that comes about and you just carelessly write a check like, oh, how much is it? All right, cool. And then you don't tell your wife who is handling the money. And man, it can lead to those type of conversations, where you feel like less than a man or less than a provider, should I say. And Woody definitely was feeling that. It's feeling that for sure.
Well,
horrible.
Didn't she say that happened like 8 or 9 times that month?
He said 5 times that month.
5 times that month?
Yeah.
So boy, nigga.
So going to your last point, School, yes, he didn't feel well, but my thing with Woody is he was too nonchalant about the whole situation.
Yeah, he ain't care.
He was way too nonchalant. You got a wife and 5 children, and your wife is a breadwinner. And I'm not here to get patriarchal and gender roles and all that shit, but just in regards to it, I'm gonna say, like Carolyn said, I just need you to pull your weight as well. Like what I'm bringing in cannot provide for this whole family. I just need you to do your part. She wasn't demanding him. She wasn't belittling him like you're not a man, you less than. It was just like, yo, I'm gonna support you in your dreams, and I love that. I guess we can combine that with the car ride when they're taking Troy down to Virginia,
Maryland,
because they had similar conversations in both of those, and just Carolyn's speech on support. Like I get up every morning, I do this, I'll wake up these kids, make sure they don't kill each other. I get them, cook them breakfast. I go home, I go to work. I teach. I come home. I cook dinner. Like if that's not support, I don't know what is. You do whatever the fuck you want. I'm just asking you to make some money off this bullshit.
Yeah,
like, play rock and roll if that shit gonna bring us some bread. Like, I can respect that.
And yeah, he said that he couldn't play other people's music anymore. And nigga, sometimes
That
you just
pride.
gotta do what you gotta do, and you ain't doing what you gotta do. That's not fair. That is not fair
And
at all. So I felt Carolyn like, motherfucker, get out, because
yeah,
you ain't contributing. You ain't helping with the household. You ain't helping with the kids. Like, nigga, no.
I think
Mm-mm.
I think Woody's main issue was that old pride,
For
and
sure.
he goes back to it when he mentions, don't forget at one point I was providing for all of us. I was doing this and I was doing that, and it's like, that's fine and dandy, my brother, but that shit ain't last. Like, you ain't doing that shit no more, and that's how he's acting. To write 5 bad checks, that's ridiculous.
Remember when it's the lowest form of conversation
Ever. You hear me?
Because that shit do not matter.
Yep.
What blew me about that too, guys, is they were getting rent money from Vic and Jessica.
Man,
Where the fuck is that money? So you pocketing the rent money when it's shit that needs to take place and get taken care of in this house, including the electric bill. Stop.
And then had the audacity to get smart with Vic's old lady. Yeah, he lived here, he paid shit, but like, come on, man.
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, yeah. And going back to the whole nonchalant thing, when she kicked him out, he didn't even push back.
Nah, he didn't.
He called his brother ASAP because he wanted that. He wanted to get away from the kids so he can work on his music.
So he can work on his music.
Yeah, I'll take more of a break than what I'm taking already.
Yep.
Damn, Woody.
Woody ain't shit.
Rachel, what you got?
I got, and it's so crazy. We kind of touched on it. So them dropping Troy off to Aunt Song's house. So that whole car ride, and Rich, you kind of touched on it. So I'll back up and go to all the kids in the room watching a Partridge Family. And again, Clinton worried about the Knicks game. Just because I used to love that I woke up and love this morning. Like, I would sing that shit all the time. And it just reminded me, again, nostalgia, watching these fucking old ass videos on TV that you gotta turn the knobs down, turning it all the way down where you ain't supposed. I had a TV in my room, and you're not supposed to be watching TV, so having it on, having the volume on too, so you can hear it and it's not getting out your door. So I just love that, because that's how it be. And me and my brother Chris used to do that shit all the time when we know we ain't supposed to be watching. So I used to get on punishment. I was a horrible child. So I used to be on punishment all the time. But both me and Chris had TVs in our room. And so if my parents would like maybe take the TV out of my room, I would just go sit in my brother's room before we would start fighting, and just watch whatever he was watching for the sake of being able to try to watch something, or go turn his TV on and then just be in and out of the room sneaking to watch TV.
Hell yeah. And when we were kids, when we were that age, we were watching, even though for them it was real time, we were watching reruns of Brady Bunch. We were Nick and Night kids. I'm sure, Ray P, I'm sure you were part of that game too. I Love Lucy, the Dick Van Dyke Show, Mary Tyler Moore. Like, we were watching all that shit. So I look back at myself in 93, 94, 95 and just having those moments in the basement at 1480 school.
Yes.
You know what it is. So that's just, I guess our version was like TGIF and all that.
Yeah. Knowing it was 10 o'clock when I Love Lucy came on. Like, oh damn, it's over.
Gotta go to bed.
It's over, man. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that was a great one. I don't know who's it on.
You.
Is it on me?
Yep.
We're just gonna talk about Troy and Aunt Song. Her just going to Virginia.
That's what I got left anyway. Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it ain't West Virginia, bro. It's Maryland.
No, I said Virginia. I think they mentioned because they were going to Virginia, or maybe they took the other one to Virginia. My bad. I know they showed the Maryland sign, but I could have sworn they were in the state of Virginia. I could be wrong. Yeah, because they were down south, so it had to be Virginia because they kept saying that down south living.
Okay.
Maryland East Coast. But the classism, the
colorism.
The colorism. We have conversations about the good hair. They mentioned it earlier in the film as well. All the naps. It's crazy how when you talk about a kid, it ain't funny compared to like when we were talking about thin line between love and hate.
Yeah,
that was a funny version versus now. It's your job as an adult and a family member to build this child's confidence up. And
Yes.
let her know whatever she is or whatever she looks like, she's a beautiful black woman. You're putting these images in her head and you comparing it. Oh, you ain't like, you ain't got that good hair like my baby.
Right.
Yep.
Like, she was on some bullshit.
Told her she was super thin. You thinner than a blade of grass, girl.
Yeah. Then you also have the anamorphic view, which was a big deal at that time, because when you were watching and the people said when they went to the theaters, they thought something was wrong with the projection. Because it automatically goes to that anamorphic view where everything's tighter. And it was intentional, obviously, and they had to put a note out before the movie started. Say, hey, there's going to be a scene or scenes in this film where the screen is tighter than it should be. That's because so many people were so confused. But it was just to show that her world was condensed being out there in the country and out of her element like that.
That was so fucking clever of Spike, by the way. That was clever.
And it was a risk. And like I said, originally it wasn't received well because of the confusion. But once they explained it, it started to see the brilliance and just some fucking around with film. That's what he said. It wasn't anything more than I love film. I just want to play around with it. So if I got to be the first to try some shit, I'm going to do it just to say I did it. And that goes to what I was saying earlier about this just being a personal film for Spike. I don't think he really cared about the return and what everything meant. He just wanted to get it in theaters and have people see it and be on the record. He said, fuck, I'm going to do what I want to. This is going to be my film. I think every artist has one that said, this is for me. I don't care what nobody think. I wanted to make this shit. It's a passion project. So
and that's for sure. You can definitely see or know that's a thing, the culture shock, especially in 1973, to go from New York, to Maryland or Virginia, and man,
South,
geez, like one of the first things the kids said, y'all house so clean. Like you see moms look like, bro, go anywhere with your mom and say something's clean and watch your mama face. Like, so what you saying about my house? Like,
and why ain't our house clean?
Right. Like, come on, man.
And guess what your ass gonna be doing as soon as you get home? Cleaning, nigga.
Cleaning.
That's it. And Troy hearing the crickets for the first time, like, what the fuck is that noise? Because that city living is very different.
And of course, man, we love animals, but Queenie, the way she pops out of that deal,
that shit's comedy, bro.
It's not the dog. It's not the dog. It's the reaction.
Listen,
it's the reaction, and it's the way Song was reacting to it, and taking that shit so serious.
The best part of that scene is leading up to it. She was stressed as hell that she could not find her dog, and so when them little girls was all in her way, move, Judy, whatever your name is, move, get out the way.
You know what that shit reminded me of, School?
What?
You know what that shit reminded me of?
Popeye?
Yep. Reminded me of Popeye.
Hey, that's fucked up. Hey. Hey, be like that.
Hey, man, just we'll tell the story another day, man. But R.I.P. Popeye.
R.I.P. Popeye, man. Shit's comedy, man.
Oh man, shit. They gonna kill us for this, man. You can't make fun of dogs. I got a dog, y'all. We love dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other scenes that either one of y'all got?
That's all I got.
Yep.
I do want to mention two quick things. They're just moments. Clinton and Troy at the repass, when Clinton comes over and holds her hand. Just that they've been beefing, bullying, as siblings do. As siblings do. It just came over in that moment. It was just, that was a sweet, tender moment between siblings. Like, regardless of all the bullshit, I got you always.
Always. Yes.
Yeah, so I love that. And just Troy taking over for Carolyn at the end, even though that is a big burden and responsibility. Just that imagery of her combing Joe's hair and trying to get him ready. And she specifically said, I want you to make sure you look out for Joe. He's the youngest. And her taking that on with heart to heart and wanted to go through with that. So I want to shout both of those out. And
Troy picking the freebaser's ass with that Stuffy's ass with that bag.
Fucked him up.
Did it I don't want to say bother you, but did it throw you off that Joe went immediately to Troy and not to Clinton? Because Clinton was right there.
No, because she's been his protector. She been looking
I would
out for
feel like with two, I'm assuming they're supposed to be teenagers, late teenagers, Snuffy and Right Hand Man.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy ass one. That's a wild ass name when you look at the character. But yo, Spike,
out of control.
Yo, Spike out of control, man. Yeah, I guess that is. As a kid, you don't think like that. You don't think of getting the biggest.
She's the mama. So
I'm gonna get the one who always had my back. You're right. You're right. She's probably huge in his world. So yeah, he's just as big as Clinton at home. So that makes sense. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Anybody have any best quotes? This wasn't a quotable movie either.
I just got you evil flat-chested wench. Just because calling somebody a wench or a wench, depending on where you're from, is still so funny to me. And well, shut my mouth wide open, because if you got a country aunt, that's some country ass shit to say. So, that's all. That's literally all I have written down for quotes.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Nothing.
All I had was there was just a chant they had when they was talking about I think what's his name, Lala was outside and he had them high waters on that said pull down your pants and pull up your ankles. That's just some shit that kids say, some fried shit.
Yeah.
So I just had that down. Scene Stiller, school. Who you got?
I don't have anyone. No one blew it away from me. Not anyone besides, Alfred and Zelda, honestly.
Ray P?
I don't have anyone written down either. But maybe I'll say for the hell of it, Isaiah Washington. Just because, him knocking out the neighbor, we understanding his character a little bit more. The only secondary character that we really get some of, other than Aunt Song, and Viola. But they
Tom Eyes.
Tom Eyes, yeah.
Tony Eyes, excuse me.
Yeah.
But his character just wasn't necessary to me. And I know he was in there because there was a neighbor that lived next to the Lees when they were kids that was like that. So that's the only reason he's in that film. Goes back to it being personal. It's not for the audience. And you could tell he didn't have us in mind because he would have spiced up more of these characters.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I was the same. None of the secondary characters had anything to do for the most part. I'm going to say Isaiah Washington because he, at least out of all of them, he left me wanting more. I wanted to know more about his character. So for that alone, to do in that short amount of screen time, I'm going to shout out him. And also the kids. I think that to have 5 kids, I think 3 of them with no acting experience, to come off, I guess it's not hard to be badass little kids. But they all came off as that. And I just want to give them a shout out. I'm sure child acting is difficult, especially Zelda and Clinton. I think they held down the fort and the other 3 filled in perfectly. Things that bother you besides the film?
I actually hate the change in that in the shots once we get down
the anamorphic shot.
Yeah, I hate it.
It ain't for everybody.
Yeah, so that's really good.
School.
Nothing.
Ray P.
Yes.
Does Woody coming over the next day with the flower and the candy tell your mom I want to go on a date? Is that a come see about me moment?
No, he didn't actually see her. Him and Troy sat outside. It was a nice thought.
But he pulled up.
But you came over. Okay. No. It wasn't successful. It wasn't enough. Like, grand gesture me after all of this shit. You can't just show up with some raggedy ass gas station flowers.
Give me no money.
You was at your brother's house. He got some money.
He wrote a check for them shits.
Yeah.
That's how important they was. That was check number 6.
Come on. And now I got $36 in overdraft fees to pay because you want to play. No.
Carolyn, man, shout out. She had the patience of a high school teacher. Well, she was a teacher, but she
was.
My goodness. All that. So we'll say no. It does not qualify as a come see about me moment. Cultural moments.
The whole movie.
The whole damn movie. The whole movie is black as hell. It's black as shit. Like it's a black ass movie. And I can definitely appreciate that.
This movie is a movie full of cultural moments. That's it.
Yeah. And I think it tried to be cultural more than it did black. I think it just happens to be black, but I think he wanted to tell the story of Brooklyn. That's why you have the Puerto Ricans and everybody in there. He wanted to really get that down of where he grew up as a kid. So I can see that and respect that. Any actors from The Wire? No.
Oh.
Soundtrack, I will say, all the music played throughout this film. It was curated by Spike. He selected every song. Everything but the end credit score or the end credit song, which was a hip hop song, was from the 60s and 70s. Classic music all throughout. Wouldn't let that happen to me.
That neighbor. Shit. Neighbor was nuts, bro.
How would you stop him now?
I don't know. Yeah. House stank. Yeah, that shit crazy.
It's nothing you could do. You a kid.
You gotta call the peoples, man. The peoples.
You ain't doing that at 12.
What about you?
I'm definitely, if I'm Troy, if I'm fighting back the girl at the store who beat her up when she got caught stealing, I'm definitely kicking her ass. And Carolyn was right. You be fighting your brothers and you let oh girl, no, hell no. I'm fighting back because that definitely would have been a ass kicking moment.
Nah, that's fair because Troy didn't back down from nothing. She didn't back down from anyone, and like you said, she stood up to her brother. She lived with him. She had to fend like that. So I'm surprised she didn't. She seems a little feisty, so I'm surprised she just let her walk off with her food stamps like that.
That part,
man.
I don't know if that has to do with the embarrassment of food stamps or what, but
maybe
I can feel you on that.
Maybe.
For me,
no homeboy.
For me, and maybe this was worked off camera. I'm not paying you rent, and I'm coming home to no lights. So we're not doing this. We're not doing this. That whole moment,
And they went
you
out.
Ain't got it. You said what?
And they went out of town.
Yeah. I'm not going. I'm not going. And I know I can accept the fact that nothing's gonna happen right now, but something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
something's gonna happen.
I'm gonna prorate your rent one day. What I'm gonna do? 2 days.
You're gonna do something.
For real,
we gotta do something. Yeah, we gotta figure something out. Just our principle.
Yeah,
for sure.
What's that mean to be floating around? You know, the older I get, the more I realize why Big Worm wanted that $200.
Yeah.
Just for hey, listen, man. Principalities, man. And we talking about some bread. I could have used that bread on something else. This is an inconvenience. Fuck all that. School, you got any trivia?
Yes, sir. I got this is Bokeem Woodbine's debut.
I was gonna say that. Shout out to Bokeem.
Yeah,
that's right. Peace, dude.
I love him.
Yeah. The brownstone in which the family lived recently in 2022 was sold for $4.5 million. So that lets you know what type of area that they was living in. And all the kids in the beginning of the movie had no idea how to play those games. So it goes back to what you was talking about, Rich, like that 20-year gap. It really did matter because Spike had to teach every single kid how to play every game prior to them shooting the scene. And there's a scene, if you notice, that Nate comes in and a couple scenes where he doesn't have any eyebrows. There's something that really happened to Spike Lee and his family. An oven exploded when they were kids, and it left them, a few of them, with no eyebrows, but they deleted the scene from the movie. I don't know why. I couldn't find any reasoning why. Maybe it was probably a little too dark. I don't know, but it didn't make the final cut. So probably would have just been another random ass scene.
Right.
That's some good info. So yeah, and we're about to wrap it up, but I think that's a perfect example of even a moment like that. These moments that happen in this film, they don't have any life after that. There's nothing. It's just left there. It's something that happened and you go about your day. And I guess I can respect that as an art form because that's how life is. But yeah, it just, as Rachel says, it just doesn't curl all the way over. Yeah, it doesn't curl all the way over. So that's some good info. I Google mapped that brownstone too. Just because anytime they say an address in the film, I'm always gonna Google map it just to see what's up.
Nice
4.5.
area.
Shish. You said what?
Nice area, huh?
Yeah, you know, Brooklyn all gentrified and whatnot.
Yep.
Yeah.
4.5 milli.
Yeah, man. So this is going to be interesting. The average viewer rates this film 7 out of 10. School, is that too high, too low, or just right?
Man, I think it's a tad bit too high. I'm gonna go. I got 6.3.
That's more than a tad, my nigga.
Yeah.
I got 6.5.
You at 6.5, Rachel?
Yeah.
I'm going just right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going just right.
Okay.
Just let me ask you guys this, just off the whim. What do you think you would have rated it before you watched it for this episode? Just off pure memory and nostalgia.
8.
7.5, 8.
Yeah,
it was
around that range too.
You know, when you mess with IMDb, it asks you if you start looking at a movie, and it asked me, and I did. I had it rated about an 8, and then I had to take it back. I can't do this, man. That's my guy.
Listen, we don't just get on these microphones and talk shit. We're not, downing it. We always gonna show love and respect and give flowers. We always want to highlight the good moments from each film. So obviously, you guys know we're not that type of podcast, but sometimes we just got to keep it a buck. And I think if we aren't authentic and being real about how we feel, then what's the point?
Yeah.
As much as and it pains, I think, all three of us to sit here and not have more glowing reviews about Crooklyn.
Sure.
It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right in my soul. As a 36-year-old black man, it doesn't. But I got to keep it a buck. It didn't move me. Like, it just didn't. Cool. And we still got an hour out of it.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've said it multiple times already in the hour we've been on, but I'm very shocked at my reaction watching this now. I don't think it's been 10 years since the last time I've seen it. So even in recent history, I don't remember fighting so hard to get through it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Also, I want to throw out a RIP to the character. I'm sorry, to the actor who played Clinton. I think his name is Clarence Williams, if I'm not mistaken, but he passed away from sickle cell in 2003 at 24 years old. So,
oh damn, man, yeah, Carlton Williams.
I'm sorry, yes. So,
damn, man, rest in peace to that brother, for real.
Yes,
definitely one of the highlights of the film.
Absolutely.
One of the highlights of the film. So,
yeah.
With that being said, as always, we appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you for joining us for another week of the Culture Garden podcast. Please do not forget to check out our Linktree. It's in the episode description. Anything that we are doing or we have going on, it will be there. Our Instagram page, our email address, everything. So please check us out. We got y'all. We're wrapping up. We're wrapping up Run the World on Stars. Our last episode for the season will be this upcoming week. And we have a couple shows that we're going to be covering in August. So please stay tuned. Subscribe to that feed. Subscribe to this. Share it with people you like. Share it with people you don't like. Share it with people who love movies. Share it with people who's down for the culture. All that good shit, man. Thank y'all. Y'all be cool. Y'all be cool.
Peace.
Bye.